Welcome to first edition of our KONA series here with Fusion, or long time actually, for as long as you have been active. Camilla, welcome to the first edition. Be honest with me, Camilla, are you happy with your current situation that you're not training for KONA right now?
I'm happy with my current situation that I just gave birth to my second boy. Um, but of course, now I saw some of the videos and photos from Kona that some of the athletes already there, and I'm like, sorry for swearing, but fuck, I want to be there.
Yeah,
Um, it really makes me miss it. It makes me miss it a lot, like just the atmosphere, the people, just all the experience you get, and all the yeah, it's just it's hard to describe what you get out of being there. So yeah, I
exactly.
miss it, and I really wanted to be there, and I actually tried to convince my husband to take some maternity leave so we could go
Yeah,
to Kona. But it's so expensive. So actually,
yeah.
that's the only
Yeah,
reason why
and
we dropped
what's
it.
up with that? Have you? I've heard some rumors about like not just double, but like triple prices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
It's actually horrible. Like before you could rent like an apartment or house for like a month, you can get it for like maybe 5 days for the same price, and it's ridiculous. So
Yeah,
that's also why we said, well, maybe we should just spend the money on the house instead, rebuilding some things. So
yeah.
we will watch it from home, and we get our son baptized instead the day
Okay,
in
maybe
Kona.
you could build a new sauna in your house, and then you have your own cone environment home.
Yes, I have my garage, so
Yeah,
I can do it
it's funny.
there.
Camilla, I think maybe we should talk a little bit about the first year you went to Kona in 2015, because leading up to that, it has been a horrible season, and you qualified early on, but to be honest with yourself, did you think that you were going to finish? Because as I recall, you haven't run or done much else than a bit of swimming and biking leading up to Kona 2015.
Yeah, well, first 2015 wasn't a horrible season because I won the 70.3 European Championships, and I won a lot of like 70.3 Kaikau and a lot of other races. But
Yeah,
after the 70.3 Europeans, I started to have like some troubles with my back, and I couldn't really run, and had a hard time sitting in my on my TT bike. And I was like, maybe I was just tired, but it took some weeks, and I got started to get frustrated because I only had like 8 weeks up to Kona. So I had to go to get a MRI scan, and they said it was kind of a disco prolapse. So there was not going to be any Kona, and I was like, not gonna happen because 2013 I didn't come because I was in coma. 2014 I couldn't make to qualify for it. And then like 15 was gonna be my first time. I was like, why is there like a black
curse.
sky over me,
Yeah,
like a curse? Like, why can't I do Kona? So I was like, I'm just gonna do everything, and I'm still gotta believe I can do it. Like I also said from Kona, like when I was in coma, like never stop believing, just keep like believing that it's possible, and I did. So I was like no running at all. Only I did a little bit of aqua jogging, but not much. And I only rode on my like a road bike, not on my TT bike, because it was too hard for my back. And yeah, it was like the worst preparation for Kona I could ever get, but I just wanted to get there, so I had no expectations. Uh, Except that I wanted to be at the start line. I wanted to
yeah.
start, and I wanted to see. Like I knew I could swim because I did a lot of swimming, and I knew I could bike. Well, I didn't know if I could be that long in my TT position because I only been road biking. When we came to the run, I was like, well, that's where everybody's starting to feel the pain anyway. So
Exactly.
maybe I can suck it up and just do it.
Camilla, sometimes you talked about that to keep your nerves a bit down, you want to look at even championship races as just another long training day because knowing you're a little bit of an active, you've always been an active girl. You love long training rides and stuff like that. So even going into
Yeah.
your first Kona, was that the approach? Wake up with a smile and well, it's gonna be a hard day, but a fun long training day. What were your mindsets at that morning?
Yeah, like I was really excited to
Yeah.
finally be in Kona,
Mm,
because I really wanted to go. That's why I started triathlon because I wanted to go do Kona. That's what everybody
mm,
talked about. It's like the biggest thing. And yeah, first I wasn't allowed to do long distance the first couple of years for the national coach, and then in 2012 I did my first Ironman in that was a challenge Copenhagen at that time.
yeah.
And then 13, I did my second Ironman, and that was Frankfurt, and I
Yeah.
won it. So it's like, this is fun. Like, that's when I
Yeah.
started to figuring out, like, Ironman is actually fun.
Yeah.
So I was really just happy to be in Kona and get the opportunity to be at the start line. And what the day would bring, I wouldn't know. I just knew that I was going to go out there and put everything I had in me and see what
Mm.
it could bring.
Camilla, as a little bit of a spoiler alert, if there's some young viewers who don't recall that you actually used to swim on the youth squad on the Danish national team. So swimming is not completely new to you, but in later years we have some real experts who've been national champions in the U.S. and in Great Britain and so on. But as I recall, you were actually one of the first girls out of the water. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I was in the main pack, like the lead pack.
Yeah.
That was the time Lucy Charles wasn't there.
Was she even born then?
So I was just still a teenager, so no. Um, well, actually, yeah, we were in like the lead pack, so with Daniela Ryf, and we were some of the good girls, so it was kind of fun to be in that pack. And it felt like a good swim, and I felt really good on the bike, also going out on the bike, and I hold the watts I should, and I feel good. Of course, the last 10, 20 kilometers is always hard in an Ironman because you just want to get off
Exactly.
the bike and
But
get in your running shoes. But I felt good, and I think I put the bike second after Daniela Ryf with
yeah.
um yeah, with Maribeth Ellis, that was also a really aggressive rider and triathlete at that time. So
Mm.
yeah.
Well, were you alone at that stage? If we take Daniela out of the picture here, were you alone at that stage when you put the bike down, or were Mary Beth Ellis, was she close to you?
Yeah, Maribeth Ellis was close to me. So we
Yeah. Okay.
pretty much did most of the ride together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's
So there
the
was
I think you became world champion in 2014, right?
yeah,
Because as far as I recall, she actually became world champion in 2015. So we have the world champion from
yes.
2014, 2015 in second and third position here, chasing
Yeah.
Daniela, who would later dominate that race. So what was going on in your mind? You knew that you might have run a bit too little to be in contention for a win there, but what was running through your head at that point?
I was like, this is fun, like this is going and like
Yeah.
it should be. But
Yeah.
of course, I was still nervous because how would my body react on going to run a marathon when I haven't really been
Mm,
running for 2 months? And but again, like anything is possible, you just have to believe it. And
mm,
I felt fine, and I knew Mary Beth is also like aggressive run. So, and she blew up in Hawaii a lot of times. So I kept my mind really like just focus on myself and say "Hey, keep your own pace, do your own thing now, this is important." And I did, but of course I had some troubles out of Queen K, and yeah, started to get tired, but it's also because I didn't get enough hydration and nutrition in me, and because I had some troubles with that since my accident, and we haven't got the problem solved yet. So yeah, well, and then out on Queen K, I was really suffering big time. And then my coach, Michael Krieger at the time, he kind of like yelled at me, just like, yeah, yeah, all the things that he knew would fire me up and make me a little bit more aggressive. He yelled at me, and I kept running and stopped feeling sorry for myself and stopped feeling everything was just like shithole. But so I finished the race and I did okay. I wasn't tired, but it's like my body just shut down. And yeah, that was the frustrating part, because if you really feel exhausted and tired, and because it's your body that is pushed too hard, but that's not what I felt. It just like there was no connection to my brain and my body, and it just like didn't want it to move even though I wasn't sore. And so that's one of the things that we haven't really could figure out why and how, and yeah, why it reacts like it does.
Yeah, a lot of people spend their whole career figuring Kona out. So that's also why it's so interesting to talk to you. But about the mindset that you're not completely fit, we have another story actually from another top athlete, Rasmus Henning, who broke his hand or some of his fingers leading into Kona, and he ended up fifth. And I don't know if we remember, if we said it before, but you were actually eighth position in your debut. Um, about this situation going into Kona with these lower expectations and still being able to have a top 5 or even a top 10 result. How do you think that is? That's possible if, yeah, with a semi broken hand and a discus. Can you explain?
Yeah, I think actually, because I thought a lot about it, that I think people sometimes um, dig too deep to find the pieces to put the puzzle together to have the perfect race. But I think they kind of sometimes miss the most important one, is like, remember why you do this. You do this
Hmm.
because you love it. You do this for a passion, and you still need that like burning flame inside you. That's the most important thing on race day. Like, you have to remember why you do it, and because it's I think it's bigger than you go measure everything and prepare so well, like eat so specific and sleep everything. Like, I actually perform best in my races
Yeah,
when I been, yeah, like unprepared for racing.
yeah.
And just came in. I have no clue what I'm going into. I'm just gonna go out, have fun, kick ass, do whatever I can without any expectations to myself. That's where I perform best, actually. Um, so I think that can also be um, what can you say? The hard part for a lot of people going into Kona, because they're so well prepared and everything. Like, if you look back and look at the PTO yesterday in Dallas, some of the
Exactly.
top girls you actually expected would be in top three, like they totally blew up on the run. Like,
Yeah.
so it's also depends on, like, going into Kona, it's not always number one that wins. It's not always the best. It's the one that really are good at acclimatizing, of course, and performing heat.
Hmm.
Because like, Ian, if you look at Flora Duffy yesterday, she totally blew up in the run. I was so surprised that
Yeah, me
she
too.
finished so low, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna win that shit. Like,
Hmm.
I was so, yeah, because he was
You go,
actually
girl.
putting the bike. Yeah, no, like, she was putting the bike before Ashley Gentle. Yeah, Ashley,
Yeah.
Gentle, and I know Flora Duffy is the best runner. She's won the Olympics, she won the Commonwealth Games, but she's won everything. So
Yeah.
I was so surprised, but maybe she doesn't perform that well in heat like some of the other
Exactly.
girls did.
About that, I think it's very interesting that a lot of people, if we look at some of the favorites for Kona this year amongst the boys, we have the Norwegian guys. We have a guy like Magnus who spent a lot of time in the lab to try to adapt to heat, make Kona-like situations in a scientific environment, and then on the other hand, you look at what's been going on in the past in Kona. A lot of older and experienced guys has done quite well. Look at 19, for instance. Number one was 38. I think number two there was Tim O'Donnell was 40 or something like that. So if you look
Yeah.
at experience versus people or younger guys who spend a lot of time in the lab, i- can you really use a lab to adapt to Kona, or will you have to go there? Do you have to have that number of starts in Kona to do really well? What do you think about that, Camilla?
Well, again, if yeah, it's a both a yes and a no. Because like some of the young guys are also really prepared. Like Magnus is like the biggest geek I know,
Yeah,
and he really puts himself into everything. He knows everything so well, and we saw him perform so well um, against Ben Hoffman in the heat.
yeah.
Uh, so it's not like he also know he sorry, my phone falls. He also knows that he can actually perform well in the heat, and but he still went down to further
No
further
problem.
details. uh, he also went down to further details to get the last small pieces, but
Yeah.
again, experience and people that raced there before know how hard it is, because there's a big difference on running on in a lap on a treadmill and then go run on Queen K and on Energy Lab. So it's a big difference, and there's so many things that, again, it's the mental thing. You go run 20 kilometers without seeing pretty much anybody else, and yeah, long straight roads, and so it's also a mental thing. And if you're really prepared mentally for that, well, I'm pretty sure you'll perform well. But again, I think like I said before, one of the biggest and most important things is that you remember why you're there, and not only have focus on the price and the money.
e-
uh
Exactly.
it's really important that you follow your heart and remember, why is it you're here? Why did you want it to go here? Like, was it only for the money, or is it actually for the passion, because you love it, you love the challenges, you also have to handle all the the bumps you meet on the way. That
Mhm.
because we also have a lot of the really good athletes that every time they hit a bump, they're kind of like, oh, I'm out, I'm done. Like, it was just a shit race, and it just like again, if you look at Lucy Charles yesterday, like she performed so well. She came back from a big injury. She lost her own bottle first from the back. She got another bottle, but she couldn't get it in the back. But she still keep fighting, and she still gave everything she had. So I have so much respect for her. But it's because, again, she's really mental strong. So,
Yeah.
and
Fantastic
you
athlete.
need that. Yeah, fantastic. And you need that if you want to do well, perform well in Kona.
Yeah, exactly. Who, if we're going to name drop a little bit, are you looking forward the most to watch perform in Kona? And maybe you're of course welcome to name a lot of the Danish girls and boys, but apart from that, you can. Are there someone who in particular you want to see perform well?
Well, now it's kind of like the game just lost its most important player. Like was looking so much forward to see Frodeno
Yeah.
and Blumenfeld and Magnus Ditlev, because when I saw Wood, I was like, Magnus could actually kick Frodeno's ass, because he was running so well in Road, Magnus. And actually, if he's been running against Frodeno, because Frodeno couldn't run much faster than
Hmm.
Magnus did, and maybe Magnus could have pushed himself a little bit more. Um, that was also a bummer when Frodeno went out, and now he's out of the race. I'm like, again, that was kind of what I was looking forward to, because I
That was
know
our
Magnus
fan
was.
moment who disappeared there.
Yeah, it kind of was, because I really wanted to see Frodeno get his ass kicked. I have so much respect for that guy,
Hmm.
but I also wanted to see that also the world could see that we actually have like such a big talented group of new athletes coming now. And
Yeah,
like I've heard, like Blumenfeld might not want to do Kona next year because of the Olympics. So
yeah,
that's also a big bummer again, because I really wanted to see Blumenfeld again for the, and Manos and Daniel Bekkegaard, because I also know he's good, and I know how he performed in Kona last time, where he like pretty much had one gear to do the 192 kilometers with or something like that, because it
yeah,
was also fucked up so early in the race. So I
yeah.
know we have some really strong athletes, Danish athletes, and just yeah, Scandinavian athletes. Um, so I really look forward to that, actually, to see them kill the race.
Of course, we also have some age groupers going there, both Danish age groupers and also around the world. Yeah, though they have to maybe sell their house or I don't know to get there,
Yeah.
or maybe they were lucky to buy a ticket early on. But what's the top thing that you have to do when you go to Kona? What's maybe you can mix it up with some of your favorite memories there from if we set a little bit apart from the race itself, what's the coolest thing to do when you arrive in Kailua Kona?
One of the things is I love go swimming in the water. It sometimes you can actually stop swimming when you're out training because you see all the fish because you're kind of like,
Yeah,
wow. And see dolphins sometimes, and it's just amazing, and just island atmosphere around it, and just running down Alley Drive. Yeah, it's just again, it's actually like the Big Island is kind of a boring island. Like there's not
yeah,
much to see compared to if you go to Maui or Oahu or some of the other islands. But it's just the atmosphere there, and because it's such a yeah, it's just a big tradition, and it has a
mm,
big story, and just being there, I always go to get my acai bowl, what however they pronounce it over there.
yeah.
Um, and then yeah, that's one of the things I have to do, and just go swim and go some of the riding to Captain Cook or some other place, and just out and back on Queen K because that can be a little
Camilla,
bit
I can't recall.
boring.
Are you a coffee lover or a coffee drinker? Because they have some of the best coffee in the world, isn't that right?
Yeah, well, I started drinking coffee 3 years ago, so
You're
I'm
still
start and
learning.
I'm still learning because I started with cappuccinos, okay, cafe lattes, okay. Now I'm
Mm,
starting slowly going over to just regular coffee,
mm.
but I'm not totally there yet. But yeah,
Okay,
it is. I always bring coffee with me home from Kona because I know the
yeah.
coffee beans are good, and also went to one of the farms to see how they make the coffee beans.
Exactly. You feel like a smuggler or a pusher when you're going out the airport because of all the coffee you have been sucking down.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so amazing. Camilla, it's going to be amazing, and it's less than 3 weeks away, Kona. So we're looking so much
Yeah.
forward to this. There's Fusion has this traditional Kona nights with 2 kids. Will you be able to come and keep us company?
Yeah, well, I can do all my training now. So did my first run today, or actually second run. It's only 3 weeks since birth, but I felt so good. So that's also why it's like and I know my biking is fine because I did a lot of biking until I gave birth. I just need to go swim, but that I don't really miss. So
Uh,
if I when I want to go back to racing again, I know I'll pick it up pretty fast. So right now I spend my the time I have for myself doing biking and running, and yeah, I will go to the Kona night, and maybe I need to bring the little one for some time because I'm his food truck right now. Uh,
yeah.
so but otherwise I am working on giving him a bottle to see if he want to take a bottle so I can do some
Mhm.
breast pumping and go do the bike ride and stuff like that. But I'll definitely be there.
Have you reached level 50 in Swift yet, or are you working on that currently with the situation?
Well, I actually did a lot of Swifting when I was pregnant with Christian,
Yeah.
and a little bit after. And then I started doing it now again after giving birth, Swifting. So it's been almost a year with not really much Swifting because prefer being outside.
Of course,
But
yeah.
I kind of forgot how I like it on Swift. I
Mm,
like some of the programs you can do, and you can make it short and hard, so you get more efficient training out
yeah.
of it. Effective training, sorry, out of your time because I don't have that much time. Like today, I want to do an hour and a half, but after 20 minutes, the little one woke up, so I was like, I didn't like him at that
Yeah.
time for 2 seconds. I was like, can I just
Yeah.
do my work? Um, no, but that's how he's the boss right now. So
Yeah.
um, later, I went for a run when the two of the boys were sleeping and Jakob was
Mm,
finally home.
yeah.
So it's nice to have a little bit alone time.
Yeah, fantastic. But I have to say, when you consider how that it's not what is it 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks? When did you give birth?
3.5 weeks, yeah,
Yeah,
three
so
and a
you
half
look
weeks.
incredibly fit. So shortly after giving birth, I would say.
Yeah, I only gained 5 kilos.
Yeah,
I didn't gain any water because I was again biking a lot and felt good.
yeah.
And then actually, I was home 2 hours after I gave birth. I was home
Wow.
again, and I tried to go on the weight just to see, and I was actually 57 kilos, which is my normal weight. And then
Yeah.
the day after, I was like, let's see what my weight is now, and I was 56, which is my race weight. So, the day after birth, I was ready to race, I guess.
Oh, you're such a. If they ever want to do a remake of that the Vikings, I think you should be one of the warriors who could play a really authentic Viking. Oh, Camilla, it has been a pleasure to talk to you, and I think it's our third time that we try to do this interview because of your busy schedule and moving forwards and backwards and stuff like that. But I'm so
Yeah.
happy that we made it, and yeah, Camilla, I will see you around, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks, and yeah, I'll see you, I guess, at Kona night in Fusion.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.